going on, YouTube? So, got a couple big projects going right now, and I'm stuck waiting on parts, so I can't really do any videos on them this weekend. So, it's just sitting in here bored. I figured I'd mess with this old monster truck I started a while ago. My plan for it was to be kind of a retro 80s monster truck, but I wanted to do like a full race style interior. So I bought all this stuff for an interior, and I never used it yet. So, not sure exactly yet how I'm going to make it all, but I'm going to make a sheet metal interior, a sheet metal dash, and I've got some really cool stuff here I'm going to show you next that we're going to put inside. Alright, so first up, I've got a bunch of stuff from Exclusive RC. This is their gauge pack, backlit gauge cluster. It's like a Haltech or something along those lines. And it is 3D printed. It does have an LED in it. And that's going to be our gauge cluster. Also have their tack. It is also lit, and it has a shift light. So I don't know how to make that all light up and stuff. I'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. But I'm going to mount the tack on the dash. And I've got these racing seats. They are metal. They do look the part. This is a serious racing seat, like something you'd find in a NASCAR or a monster truck maybe. No real padding, just straight support. Driver would be strapped down in nice and tight. So that's the inspiration for the interior on this. I've got this sheet of galvanized steel here, and I think the first place I'm going to start is try and make a dash. I've bought some other steel for I thought I was going to make the floorboard out of, but I'm afraid it's too thick and I don't have the means to cut it. Here in my scale shop, this is about all I have to cut with, so short of whipping out the Sawzall here in the middle of about 1 a.m. I don't think I want to do that. So I'm going to start bending up a dash. I'm going to mark and cut the width, and I'm just going to cut rectangles, and I'm going to try to bend it. Hopefully I can make it straight. Alright guys, so bending the dash, I don't have any fancy tools really, so I'm just using, okay, I've got the piece cut. It's about 1 inch wide and the width of the cab, and I need one nice even bend across to make the front of the dash. So I've got my bench vise. I put a piece of flat bar stock steel next to my tin and clamped it down in the vise, clamped the pieces together on the ends just so it holds. There's lots of different ways. I've done this before where I don't have enough metal right now to do it the other way, but you put a piece of metal on both sides and clamp it into the vise, and that'll help keep your bend nice and even. This one's not going to be perfect because I bent it a little bit before I remembered to do all this. So then I took my aluminum angle here and put it up on top. I didn't clamp it yet. I just did that once I got the bend started. I just worked it over by hand, pushing that over to make about roughly a 90-degree bend, and I just clamped the sides to help reinforce the bend. So I'm going to take all this mess apart and see how well it came out. Alright guys, so I got it roughed in. I've just got a tire in there wedging it against the body for now. I do have a plan on how to mount it, but I'm afraid I'm going to need some more sheet metal to pull it off. Alright guys, I didn't want to wait and have to go to the store again to try to get some more metal. So I've switched to styrene. I've already cut a 1 mil thick sheet, and it fits pretty well in here. So I'm just going to use that as my platform to build off of. I'm not sure if I can get it out of here. Hard to show you what's going on inside of here. The way this truck is, I don't know what exact kit this is, but I was told that all these shock mounts and chassis stuff is not factory. So I've got this plate right here with 4 screws that cover transmission and also reinforce the frame across. So I know it's going to be a nightmare to try and mount. Those are hard enough to put on because you got to hold a nut from the bottom. This is an old school hardware kit. There's no self-tapping anything. So it's going to be difficult to get the styrene in with those. I'm going to have to do a lot of work, try to get those screws and nuts together. So for now, I'm just going to start building off of this piece. I'm going to put it back in, and I'm going to kind of draw some guide marks on it and mount the seats and start building a firewall and a place to mount our dash. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the metal dash now. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to start from the floor up, see how it goes. Alright guys, got the seats mounted to the floor. See, I've made a couple cuts here to clear my front cab mounts. They mount to the firewall on this body. Next, I think I've been brainstorming all night about this. I think I'm going to make some kind of a trans tunnel. I've got a shifter here I'm going to use. I'll probably use this steering column from this axial parts tree. I'm trying to find a wheel. I'm not sure how I'm going to attach it yet, but I think I'm going to build this like a tub. I've got front piece already cut, and I'm going to build sides, back, and then something in the middle to help reinforce it. And yeah, but I am still wanting to use the metal dash that I made. So I'm about to put the window in the cab, and I'm going to look at how high the dash needs to set and if I can reuse the mounts from the bottom of the windshield to share a mount with the dash. So I'm going to keep on trucking. Alright guys, I've been working on this for a long time. I know this video is probably kind of slow and drawn out, but got my dash mounted. It's mounted to the windshield holes. I'll take it off here in a minute and show you my complicated metal mount. Try to keep with the theme. I've used some pop rivets. You know, it's like a race car interior. It's just sheet metal, save weight. But I got the height right. I had the same problem I did with the stock Blazer dash when I built my other Blazer. The dash just set too low, so I had to make some angles and raise it up. So got the dash in, and I think that's going to work. That'll leave. I mount the gauges and everything to the dash, run the wiring in the body. So hopefully I can just make a simple one plug for the body when I take it off. I'm afraid this is going to be another one like the Amigo. It's just going to be too much trouble to take the body on and off. That Amigo's a nightmare. I just knocked over my box of styrene. So yeah, it's not perfect. I gotta do some bending and try to straighten it up. That's one of the good things about being all sheet metal is I can keep wiggling it around until I get it just how I want it. Yeah, I'm gonna take the body off and show you what it looks like underneath. Alright, you can see where the windshield mounts is up really high. And it only took me 2 tries to make some metal drops. I tried to use some of my aluminum angles, but it wasn't deep enough to reach the hole. So I ended up just having to use some more sheet metal. And this is flat aluminum bar that's mounted to the dash. It's pop riveted through the top of the dash, and it's pop riveted through the angled sheet metal to the mount. And yeah, it'll work good enough. It'll move a little bit, but not unless you're touching it. So happy with that so far. I'm definitely not going to finish this interior in this video, so if that's what you're hoping for, I'm sorry. This is a lot of work doing a scratch built interior. I'm going to go ahead and start working on the floorboard now and try to build some sides for it, and that's going to be another challenge all in itself. Alright guys, here's where I'm at. Don't laugh too hard. I spent over an hour trying to make a transmission tunnel. I was trying to hammer some sheet metal around some stuff. I tried making a jig with some screws, tightening it down around a screwdriver to make a nice round tunnel. And nothing was working out, so I just looking around the house trying to figure out what I could use. I ran across some of these cheap shelf brackets. and I was like, there we go. And that'll also add reinforcement to my firewall. So I'm trying to figure out right now how I'm going to attach it. I've drilled a hole in it and mounted my little axial shifter. It's a little far away from the driver, but these seats are just a little small, but I'm just going to go with it. I don't have any other options, so that's what I'm going to run. I did make a piece of styrene, another 1 mil, trying to reinforce the floorboard a little bit because it was pretty flexible. I would have preferred to use 2 millimeter, but I was out, so I'll just reinforce places here and there with another sheet of 1 millimeter thick. I've got my door panels, my firewall, and my rear trim piece that's going to flush this with the bed floor in the back. Got all that cut. Just need to figure out this. My original plan was to pop rivet it, but I don't think that's going to hold well through styrene. And I've got all this scale hardware from Locked Up RC. I thought about drilling some more holes and putting a few scale bolts through. The only problem with that is the 3 holes that this has are too big for the scale hardware, so I can't use those. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep doing some brainstorming. You see, I trimmed the edge of this down and rounded it. I cut the front down and rounded the edges so it'll fit right up under the dash and hopefully look like a transmission tunnel. Alright guys, so here's the rough construction. Been working on this for way too long. I probably got at least 8 hours in it already. Just between having to do other stuff around the house, and it's been a busy weekend. So let's see. The door panels are just sitting in there. I was just trying to make sure they were going to fit. They're still going to need. I got to figure out if I'm going to mount them to the truck or the interior piece. It is going to be a nightmare to take the body on and off. The way my body mounts from the firewall through to the back side with a nut and a bolt. The interior does slide back a little bit so I can see them. Getting to them is going to be a different story. But yeah, it is what it is. We're going to roll with it because scale. What else? Yeah, see, let me see if I can get you some better lighting in there. I put tons of little scale hardware on our center console / transmission tunnel. I hadn't tightened them all down just because I'm going to have to take it all apart and paint it. So I did the main ones. I don't think I have any way of showing you the firewall. It's a little taller than I thought, but it fits. It hides everything. On the back side here, I used a piece of styrene square tubing to fill in the gap. It's not completely filled in, but I'm still not certain how to attach the interior. This is kind of my process. I always start with the floor and set it up, and then we'll worry about how we're going to attach it later. When I did my Amigo interior, it's not really attached to anything. It fits so snug in the body, and it contours to the frame pretty well so it doesn't move around. But that's where we're at. It's coming out a lot better than I thought it was going to. I think it is going to be my best yet. Of course, it's like only my third. But yeah, thank y'all for bearing with me. I know this video is kind of drawn out and boring, but yep. Hopefully we can keep moving forward on it here pretty soon. So as always, thank y'all for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Check me out on Instagram, and y'all stay tuned for more.